Hi and welcome to Crafter's Corner with your resident lefty, Shell. Um, so please excuse the lighting in here. I'm using the living room and not my studio because I can't manage the stairs today. I'm having a disabled day. So um, on the group I've done a few videos over time about doing left-handed granny squares, and so I wanted to extrapolate from that and move on. Now I'm testing out some hooks that were sent to me by a very dear friend from America. These are Yarnology hooks. You can't get them in the UK as far as I'm aware, but look at them, they are gorgeous. They really are beautiful, and they come in a range of colours. And I have to say, I do have to say that this purple one I'm actually considering just like, yeah, framing because it's so beautiful. Anyway, what was I going to say? Right. These hooks here are what I normally use. So I use boy hooks over Bates hooks. Now let me explain the difference. So your boy hooks, you see how these are tapered. I have eczema there, I'm sorry. You see how they're tapered? Boy hooks are all in line, so that is perfectly straight, and there's just like a little slit for your yarn. Each to their own. It's perfectly up to one another how you use them. These are ergonomic handles because I can't use just the straight handles. I have arthritis in my hands. So the yarn we will be using today is this is WI Women's Institute yarn. It is an Aran weight yarn. Let me just chop that end off. It's an Aran weight yarn. They come in 400-gram balls, and they are 3 for 2, and they're £10 a ball. So you can get three for £20 from Hobbycraft. Hobbycraft is the only place that you can get it. I forget which colour this is because I've taken the band off it and I've rewound it into a centre pull because they're quite large balls to work with. So without further ado, make a slip knot. So you just wrap your yarn over. This is how I do it. Wrap your yarn round, cross it over, and then slip it off. And if you know what a Staffordshire knot is, that's what you've got at the moment. And then you push the centre through, and you can pull it and just put your hook inside. And this will mean that you tug the long string and it tightens up. The reason I do that is because I always figure if you've got to tighten up by your small string, then you can undo your work as you're going along, and that wouldn't be good. Now, I'm not oops, I just knocked the camera, I'm sorry. I'm not doing the magic circle method because if you're doing granny squares for a blanket or something, I do think that you're better off doing the chain method and having a tiny little circle in the centre, because then there's no risk of it coming undone unless the yarn snaps. Sadly, there are multiple ways in which a magic circle can give away, and so I will do that in another video, but for now this is just me. So what we're going to do is I wanted to do a full granny square with you, a solid granny square. Now I don't have a printed out pattern because I know I know what I'm doing. She says with so much faith that she knows what she's doing. Anybody that knows me knows that that's complete and utter tosh. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, for. Now bear in mind that I'm using a yarn that's too big for, a little bit too big for the yarn. So mine's going to be baggy, but I've done this so that I can show you the stitches and that you can see what I'm doing and where I'm going. Now you slip stitch, so you just pop it into the first stitch there and you pull through and then you hold it down in like a U and just pull through again. And there, oops, don't do that, Shell, come on. And then you have a circle, if I can show you, in the centre there. Do you see? So you've got a kind of ring, a circle. Now this is where what I do is I always hold this down with the yarn because I'll show you in a minute. So we're going to chain 2 because that gives us the height of a double crochet, which is what we need because we'll be working double crochets all the way around. Now your solid granny square starts the same way as any other granny square on the planet. So in that hole in the centre there, we're going to do a double crochet. Yarn over, put it in. Now if you hold, watch what I'm doing with this tail end. I'm holding it against the circle because I'm just going to crochet over it because I'm lazy, and that works and it stops you having to wind in so many ends. So yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we're going to do that again because we need 3 for each side. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have 3, well you've got 2 there and your chain 3, which is fine. And then we're going to chain 2 for the corner, and we're going to do 3 double crochets. So yarn over into the same hole, all into the same hole, and then you're going to pull up a loop and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So double crochets are made up of basically, in US terms, and I only use US terms unless I really have to. Sorry, I'm going around here. Right, so I've just done another 3 double crochets, and now see how we've like made, yeah. So now I need to do another chain 2, and now we're going to do another 3. Trust me, all the way around we're holding on to this tail and we're holding it close to the ring. So your double crochets, you can count, look how, I'll see if I can zoom in. So your double crochet, you can count 1, 2, 1, 2, and that tells you that it's a double. You do get used to the look of stitches, and how they form, and you can tell then which stitch you're doing and how it's formed. So we're going to do another 3 double crochets. So yarn over into the same hole again, and pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to do that twice more. So yarn over into the hole, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And lastly on this side, and then chain 2 for the corner. So as you can see, what we've done is we've made a corner. Oops. Yarn bath. Don't you just hate it when that happens? Well, some of us do. Right, that'll do for now. I've pulled enough out. It's fine. So we've chained 2, and now we're on the last corner. See how we've got 1 corner, 2 corner. This is our 3rd corner, and now we're going to do a yarn over, and then into the centre again, and we're going to do 3 more doubles here. So that's 1, 2, 3. Oops. I need to finish the second one before I count the third one. 2, 3. And then we chain 2 and just leave that there because we can tug that off. Now in the top, very top of our chain 3, what we want to do is just slip stitch. So I'm just going to slip stitch into that So it's pull straight through. Sorry, I'm back. So what we're going to do, we are going to go from here and we're going to chain 2, and that will be the height of our double crochet. And then now, because we're doing a solid granny, what I would normally do is I would normally slip stitch into that stitch and then slip stitch into the corner and then chain 2 from there, so I was working starting from the corner. But because I'm doing a solid granny, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 2, and now I'm going to double crochet, but I'm going to double crochet into the stitch that I would have slip stitched into, right? So I'm doing a stitch in each one, see? And now I'm going to just do 2 double crochet into the corner, sorry, 3 double crochet into the corner. I need to learn to count. So we're doing 3 double crochet into the corner and chain 2, because that is then our corner. So what you're doing is you're doing the corners as you would if you were doing a normal granny square. The only difference is, oh right, so let's do this side now. This side's the full side. So we start with our 3 double crochet in the corner. See, this is how you would do a granny square normally. You would do 3 in the corner, because that's your granny square cluster stitch, right? And that's fine. So we've just done 3 double crochet into the corner. Now what we want to do is we want to do a double crochet into the first stitch here. So this stitch often gets overlooked because it gets hidden behind these stitches, so you do have to wiggle it a little bit, but it's there. That's your first stitch. So you yarn over and you do a double crochet into that stitch. As I say, you might need to pull your double crochets, tweak them around a bit, and you know, play with them, fiddle them, caress them, move them into space. And then so we're going to do a double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So what we've done is we've double crocheted in every stitch of the treble cluster, of the triple cluster, sorry, from the row below. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do another corner, which is at the corner is 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. It doesn't matter what row you're on, a corner is always 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, because that's how the corners are made of this blanket. So we've just done 3 double crochet. I'm pulling them round so that they're sitting properly, and now we're going to do another 3 double crochet. 2, 3, and now we're back to doing a working over the cluster from the row below. So we do need to pull this double over. See how that stitch really opened up when I did that? That's normal. That's really normal. That's why I kind of tweak it. So we do a double crochet into the every single stitch from that cluster. So that's three double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and now we do the corner, which is, I want to hear you all say it. I want it to be like a Queen concert where I go, what's your what's your corner? And you all shout 3 double crochet, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. So I'm gonna imagine that you're shouting at me and that you're doing that. So we're gonna do 3 double crochet. Oops, my yarn bath is following me again. I didn't really sort it out, I just kind of pulled enough away that I needed. Chain 2. Let me just sort my yarn bath out. So I do love this colour and I love working with this yarn. It is really nice yarn, but I wish they'd sort their balls out, because having a centre pull big 400 gram ball would make my life so much blooming easier. Right, so There we go. We've got chain 3. No, we don't. We have 3 doubles, chain 2. See, I would be really bad in the crowd of a Queen concert. Not that I could be in the crowd of a Queen concert now anyway, I guess. So now we're going to do our chain 3 because I'm going off on a tangent. Anybody that knows me knows that this is normal. 1, 2, 3. Right, now, again, you need to fiddle with your things, give them a bit of a caress, tug them. They like being tugged on. And that stitch will open up, and then you can poke your crochet hook through the hole, and we're doing 3 stitches there. And yeah, I guess that was a bit of an innuendo, really, wasn't it? 2, 3, and then we're back to our final corner, which is chain. No, it's 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. That's how it works. Maybe I just need to train myself to remember that. 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. See, I always go to say 3 chains, 2 doubles, 3 chains because my brain is broken. Anybody that knows me knows that my brain is broken, so that's okay. 1, 2, 3. Now, this is looking a bit tight, but it's okay. We can work with tight. And you just, in the top there, in the top of that chain, just slip stitch and job's a good one. So that is your solid granny square taking shape. Can you see you've got your 4 corners? See? And you've got your pretty flower centre, and you've got your, see how that's sitting? It does make sense. And now what you've got is you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches on each side. So now I'm going to show you how we do the next row, and then I will leave you all in peace because I imagine by then that you've got it. So what you need to do is you need to remember how many stitches you've got on each row. Purely and simply because it makes everybody's life easier if you know it. So we're going to chain 2 because that's our double crochet, right? And see, that's how that's that one. So we're going to double crochet in the next one, 2, 3, 4. So we're crocheted in the next 4, and we are gonna do 3 in the corner. So what you're doing is you're always expanding every row by 3 because that's what your corner stitches are. And then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do another 3 in the corner. Now I suppose that you could get away with doing just 2 in the corner if you really wanted, but I don't know that I would, because I quite like it the way it is. So remember to tug, and then that stitch opens up, and then this will block really beautifully. What we're going to do now is we're just going to in each stitch along. Yeah, it's alright, my brain is fried. I was just counting there. So yeah, we're just going to crochet on each stitch along, and make sure that we have got it right. And then we're going to do 3 more in the corner here. You see? 1, 2, 3, and then we do our chain 2. Oops. And then we're going to do 3 more doubles in the corner. 1, 2, remember, tug them and that stitch will open up, do you see? So we're going to do a double crochet in each stitch. You really do get into a rhythm once you're doing it. It's very therapeutic, very rhythmic. It goes quite quick. Oops, it's pretty good. And again with my yarn bath catching up with me. Darn it. I have no idea how that's happened, but it's okay. We've got it. It's alright. Help. Send help. There we go. That's got it. So gonna carry on with a double crochet in every stitch. Then we do our 3 in the corner. 1, 2, 3, and chain 2. Oops. Chain 2. I just had to adjust myself because I was not comfortable. One, two, three. Tug it a little bit and the stitch will open up, and then you do a double crochet in each stitch all the way around again. So like I said, it's really simple. It's not difficult at all. It gets quite monotonous, quite rhythmic in its own way. Yeah, it's a nice easy stitch, and it gives a good solid blanket, which is good for babies. You know, there's not holes that they can really catch their fingers in, which is good. And then we're going to do 3 in a corner and chain 2, and then 3. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, 3. Ready? Last 3. 1, 2, 3. And then tug it so the stitch opens up, and you can do the last few stitches. 2, and then you slip stitch into the top of that chain, and there you have it. That's your solid granny square. Do you see? And make sure that this bit doesn't catch you out, and that you're going into the right stitches, and that you have the correct amount all the way around. But yeah, that's a solid granny square. There you have it. Yeah, I think you could get away with doing 2 in every corner, and it wouldn't leave these as open if that's what you didn't want. Obviously, you still need to start off with the 3 though, because that's the centre. And then your expansion would only be 2 stitches around instead of 3. Again, totally up to you. I imagine, you know, if it's blocked, you could block this so that those holes were pretty small. If you pull it away, you can see that those holes will be pretty small. Um, so I'm going to leave that with you. Just carry on. So you chain two and then you double crochet in every stitch around, and then your corners are three double crochet, chain two, three double crochet. Um, I've been really good. I haven't said one curse word all the way through. Which, if you know me, that's so unlike me. What I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to show you how I finish off. So what I would do is I always kind of say so I'm coming up to the end. Oops. Um, what I do is I always do an extra slip, like an extra chain, always, and I have. Let me find them. I have. I'm saying this now, and you can guarantee that I can't blooming find them, but I know I've got them. I have metal. Here they are. I have these metal sewing needles that are absolutely fantastic. I love these. I also have some shuttle needles which are fantastic as well. Which lovely presenter Sandy, who is our lovely right-handed presenter, she gave me when she was over from Canada. But they're in my other tub, which is in my studio. So I can't show you what they are, but I will do because they're fabulous. So you just thread it through, and this is these glide through the yarn so easy. I always kind of just go through a few stitches, just back and forth like that across the top, and then go back over those same stitches so that you're hiding your yarn well. Make sure not to split the yarn like I just did there, because that's just not going to help you. I go back further than I went forward, if that makes sense. So I always go back a few. And then what I do is, just for extra stability, is I go into the stitch and I go down, and I might go down a couple of stitches, a couple of rows, um, into the like there, and I'll go across that row as well, and then back up and down, because let's face it, you can never ever bury your ends enough. It's yeah, it's one of those things that it's always better to overdo it than underdo it, isn't it? Because the last thing any of us want is something that's going to fall apart at the seams, as it were. So that's that all done, and I would block that. I would block the hell out of that, actually. So there we have it, people. Hopefully that has been enlightening for you, and fingers crossed we will see much more of you. And that's the back of it, and you can just snip that bit off because that's buried into the circle, by the way. So I quite like the look of the back of it as well. I like, see, yeah. So this is my left-handed solid granny square tutorial. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments below, or please feel free to join the group. It's madness. It's absolute madness. But Sandy and I are on hand wherever possible, whenever possible, and between us both we have pretty much 24 hours covered because of the time differences. Please click subscribe, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. Have fun.